Nolan sat quietly in the small transport ship, looking out at the giant glowing ring of the Solari research station ahead. This was his first time off Earth, and his first assignment as a xenolinguist. He had trained for years to study alien languages and cultures. Now, he was finally getting to meet the Solari, a peaceful alien race known for their love of learning. And glowing, soft-skinned the transport docked, and the door hissed open. A tall, thin figure with glowing blue lines on her arms stepped forward. Her voice was soft but clear. "Greetings, human. I am Jera. Welcome to the Knowledge Ring," she said with a gentle nod. Nolan smiled. "Thanks. I'm Nolan. I'm really excited to be here." Jera looked curious, her head tilting slightly. "You speak gently for a species with such intense history." Nolan laughed. "We can be loud sometimes, but I promise I'm just here to help." Jera led him through long, clean halls filled with lights and floating screens. Other Solari watched him from a distance, their glowing lines shifting colors. Nolan didn't know what each color meant, but Jera's glow stayed calm and light blue, peaceful. Maybe. As they reached the language center, Jera handed him a data pad. "This contains all known Solari root sounds and grammar systems. Study it tonight. Our first session begins tomorrow." Nolan looked at the pad and nodded. "I've already gone through the main structure back at the academy. I've got it inside me." Jera stopped walking. Nolan didn't notice at first, but when he turned, she was frozen in place, her eyes wide and the glow on her arms changing quickly from blue to green, then yellow. "What's wrong?" Nolan asked. She took a step back. You have it inside you?" Nolan raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, I studied it, memorized it." Jera blinked. "Physically, you swallowed the language? Or did someone place it into you?" No. It's just a human expression," Nolan said. "I meant I remember it, like in my brain." Jera's expression didn't change. "Your brain holds it?" Nolan chuckled awkwardly. Yeah, humans store information in the brain. Like memory, that's how we learn." Jera looked even more shocked. "That is alarming and impressive, but mostly alarming." Before Nolan could explain more, Jera turned and began walking quickly. "You should rest. We will continue tomorrow." Confused but too tired to argue, Nolan nodded and followed her to his room. After she left, he sat on the strange round bed and sighed. Weird start. Maybe it's just nerves. What Nolan didn't know was that Jera had gone straight to the station's medical center. "He said he has it inside him," she whispered to a doctor. He looked calm, maybe unaware of what it's doing to him. The humans may not realize their danger. The doctor's lights turned orange with concern. "Should we isolate him?" "Not yet." Jera said, "I must learn more. Maybe I can remove it." Meanwhile, Nolan lay in bed, scrolling through notes on the Solari. He saw a line in the guidebook that made him laugh. "Be careful with idioms. The Solari take most words literally." "Oh," he muttered, eyes going wide. "So when I said I've got it inside me," he sat up straight. "They think I swallowed their language." He buried his face in his hands. "Great, first day, and they think I ate knowledge like a sandwich." Across the station, the news spread fast. Whispers of the human carrying something inside him floated from lab to lab. Some thought it was a weapon. Others believed it was an alien virus. A few believed he was part machine. "We have to understand what this means," said one senior researcher. "If humans can carry languages inside their bodies, what else can they carry?" By morning, the entire research station was quietly observing Nolan. He noticed strange looks, but smiled and waved anyway. When he sat down in the learning room, Jera placed a soft pad in front of him. "We will not push too hard today," she said gently. "We understand you are holding a lot." Nolan almost laughed, but he held it in. "I really think we had a small misunderstanding." Jera nodded. "Yes, and we will help you through it." He sighed. "This is going to be a long week." Deep in the station, a team of Solari engineers were already preparing a containment field just in case what was inside the human tried to come out. And all Nolan had done was use a figure of speech. The morning light filtered softly through the large windows of the Solari research station. Nolan sat in the language learning room, tapping his fingers nervously on the table. Around him, several Solari researchers watched quietly, their glowing patterns flickering with curiosity and maybe a bit of worry. ZHR entered, carrying a small device that hummed softly. She gave Nolan a gentle smile, but her eyes showed a hint of concern. "Good morning, Nolan. Today, we will continue our work," she said. "But please understand, many here are still unsure about what it means to have something inside you." Nolan smiled politely. "I know. I'm sorry if my words caused trouble. It's just a figure of speech for humans." Jera nodded slowly. "Yes, but your expression has led to many interesting questions." As she spoke, a group of Solari engineers and scientists gathered behind the glass wall. They whispered and gestured toward Nolan, their glow shifting nervously. One whispered, "What if it grows? What if it moves inside him? Or what if it controls him?" Another said, eyes wide. Nolan, unaware of the rumors growing around him, pulled out a small snack, some human-made fruit bars. As he bit into one, he noticed a shadow move near the door. He looked up to see a Solari security officer standing silently, watching him eat. He raised an eyebrow. "Am I under watch now?" The officer blinked and turned away. Later, during a break, Nolan tried to talk to Jera. "So, what exactly do they think is inside me?" he asked. Half-joking. ZHR looked uncomfortable. "Some believe you carry a living thing, like a parasite. Others think your body stores weapons or dangerous energy." Nolan laughed. "No, nothing like that. I'm just a normal guy with a brain." She sighed. "Your brain is still a mystery. Too many here. It is very different from ours. Your inside worries them." Meanwhile, rumors had spread to the station's cafeteria. A group of Solari scientists whispered about the human's strange biology. "He might be hiding a crystal of knowledge," one said, "or a seed of power," another replied. "We must watch him carefully," said a third. Nolan overheard some of this and shook his head, chuckling quietly. If only they knew. One afternoon, Jera invited Nolan to her lab. She showed him strange machines designed to scan the inside of living beings. "This is our bioanalyzer," she explained. "We use it to understand physical contents." Nolan smiled. "Sounds like a fancy X-ray machine." Jera nodded. "We thought maybe we could see what you have inside. But you must agree, the idea is unsettling." Nolan laughed softly. "Yeah, it's funny to think they imagine I'm some walking data crystal." She smiled back, but then grew serious. "We want to help you. If there's something inside, we want to know what." Nolan thought for a moment. "Well, I guess you could scan me. I'm not hiding anything." The next day, Jera and the team performed the scan. Nolan lay still while the machine's soft hum filled the room. After a few minutes, the data showed nothing unusual, only normal human organs, and a very active brain. The team was relieved but puzzled. No crystals, no weapons, no parasites. One scientist said aloud. ZHR smiled at Nolan. "You truly are human." Nolan grinned. "I guess that's the most dangerous thing here." After the scan, Nolan walked through the station halls and noticed more curious glances. Some Solari even whispered excitedly about the human who carried nothing. Later, during a casual meeting, Jera tried to explain human language to the others. "Humans say things that don't mean what they sound like," she said. "Like I've got it inside me just means they remember something. It does not mean they swallowed it." The crowd listened, amused and confused. One young Solari raised a hand. "What about break a leg?" Everyone laughed, including Nolan. Double quotes. "Yeah, that one means good luck," he said. "Not an actual injury." As laughter filled the room, Jera whispered to Nolan, "Next time, maybe don't say inside me." Nolan smiled. Lesson learned. But just as things seemed calm, trouble appeared from an unexpected place. A group of visiting aliens called the Grash arrived at the station. They were known for their strict rules and distrust of humans. They heard the rumors too. The Grash commander stared at Nolan with cold eyes. "So you are the one who carries the unknown inside?" Nolan raised his hands. "No, it's just a misunderstanding." The Grash ignored him. They discussed capturing Nolan for further study. ZHR noticed their hostility and warned Nolan. Be careful. Some do not believe our explanations. Nolan nodded, feeling both nervous and amused. I guess my brain is more dangerous than I thought. As night fell, Nolan sat by a window, watching the stars. He thought about how a simple phrase had caused so much confusion. All this from just saying I have it inside me, he murmured. And somewhere in the station, Jera smiled, hoping this strange human would help teach everyone about more than just words. The next morning, the station buzzed with quiet tension. Nolan walked carefully through the corridors, sensing eyes on him. He knew the Grash were watching. They whispered among themselves, sharing rumors of humans who could carry strange powers inside their bodies. ZHR met him near the research wing, her face serious but kind. Nolan, I need to talk with you about something important. He nodded. Sure. What is it? She hesitated before speaking. Some believe that whatever is inside you might be dangerous. I want to help you. Nolan frowned. Help me? What do you mean? Jera looked down, then met his eyes. We have a procedure. We can carefully remove what is inside. If you allow. Nolan blinked, then laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Remove what, exactly? The thing inside you, she said softly. If you have something lodged inside, we can take it out gently, so you are safe. Nolan's smile faded. Jera, there is nothing inside me except my brain. She shook her head slowly. I don't think you understand. When you said you have it inside you, the others thought you swallowed something, maybe a crystal, or a seed, or a weapon. Nolan raised an eyebrow. I'm not a storage unit. Humans don't swallow knowledge. Jera's eyes widened in alarm. You store knowledge physically? Inside your head. Yes, it's called a brain. It holds memories and thoughts, Nolan explained patiently. ZHR stepped back. That is terrifying. To store so much inside a soft organ. Soft, yeah, kind of, Nolan said, rubbing his neck. But it works well, she sighed. We thought maybe you had an object inside you, something that grows or controls you. Nolan shook his head, trying not to laugh. Nope, just a brain. The misunderstanding grew worse when word reached the Grash. Their commander demanded a meeting. We must capture this human for study, the Grash leader said sharply. His body hides secrets we do not understand. Jera pleaded. There is no danger. It is a language misunderstanding. But the Grash were stubborn. They prepared to detain Nolan. ZHR hurried to warn him. Nolan, the Grash plan to capture you. You must hide. Nolan's eyes widened. What? Why? They fear what they do not know. She said quietly, your inside frightens. Then Nolan quickly thought, okay, where can I hide? Follow me, Jera said, leading him to a maintenance corridor. It was narrow and rarely used. This way, she whispered. As they moved, Nolan looked around nervously. I never thought my words would cause a chase. Jera smiled sadly. It is harder to explain to some than others. They reached a storage room and slipped inside. Jera sealed the door behind them. Nolan leaned against the wall, catching his breath. So, what now? Jera looked serious. We need to convince the Grash and the others, but it will take time. Just then, a soft beep came from her communicator. She glanced at it. They are closing in. Nolan's eyes narrowed. Then we better move fast. They planned to reach the station's main communication hub, to send a message to the council explaining the misunderstanding. Carefully, they snuck through the halls, avoiding patrols. Jera used her knowledge of the station's layout to guide. Then, along the way, Nolan tried to lighten the mood. So, when you first heard me say inside me, what did you picture? Jera laughed softly. I imagined something like a glowing crystal, maybe a seed that could grow inside you. Nolan chuckled. Well, that's creative and terrifying, she added. As they reached the hub, they saw the Grash blocking the entrance. Stop right there. The Grash commander barked. ZHR stepped forward bravely. Please, listen. This is a misunderstanding. Nolan nodded. There's nothing inside me except my brain. The Grash commander narrowed his eyes. Your words confuse us. Prove it. Thinking quickly, Nolan held out his hands. You want proof? Ask me questions about human biology. The Grash paused. One of their scientists stepped forward and asked, "What is the function of your brain?" "It controls everything," Nolan said simply. "Thoughts, feelings, memories. It's soft but powerful." The Grash looked skeptical, but listened. ZHR added, "We have scanned him. No weapons, no crystals, no parasites, just a normal human." Slowly, the Grash commander lowered his weapon. "We will report this to our leaders," he said. "But we remain cautious." Jera smiled at Nolan. "You did well." Nolan grinned. "Thanks. Guess my brain is safe for now." As they left the hub, Jera said, "Next time, be careful with idioms." Nolan laughed. Lesson learned. But deep down, he wondered what other surprises awaited him on this strange station where words could cause so much trouble. After the tense meeting with the Grash, Nolan felt a little relief but knew the situation was far from over. The Grash's caution meant he was still under suspicion, and the entire station was buzzing with quiet whispers about the human with the dangers inside. Jera met Nolan in the common hall, her usual calm glow flickering nervously. "Nolan, the council has asked us to keep a close watch on you. They want to understand more about humans and your inside." Nolan shook his head, trying to smile. "Sounds like I'm the star of a bad mystery show." She laughed softly. "You certainly have brought excitement to our station." Later that day, as Nolan explored the station, he noticed subtle changes. Doors that once opened easily now required extra security checks. Solari would glance his way, their glowing lines shifting colors quickly. Some avoided eye contact, others whispered behind his back. One afternoon, while studying Solari language notes, Nolan heard a soft knock on his door. He opened it to find Jera holding a small, strange-looking device. "This is a bicam," she explained. "It can show us inside the body without harm." Nolan raised an eyebrow. "Another scan." Jera nodded. "Yes, but this is less intimidating than before. It's small and portable. I want to show you something." Curious, Nolan followed her to the lab. She placed the device on a table and activated it. A soft light glowed, and images appeared on a screen. "This is my heart," Jera said, pointing at the glowing organ. "It beats constantly, like yours." Nolan leaned in, fascinated. "Yours glows. That's amazing." "Yes, it helps our communication," she said. "Now, if we scan you, we can see your brain too." Nolan nodded. "Go ahead. No secrets here." The bicam hummed softly as it scanned Nolan's head. Images of his brain appeared, complex patterns of glowing cells, pulsing gently. ZHR smiled. "Your brain is beautiful, different, but alive and full of energy. So, I'm not dangerous?" Nolan joked. "Not because of your brain," Jera said, laughing, "but because of your words." Nolan grinned. "Yeah, the words have been my real problem." The next day, Jera invited Nolan to give a small talk to a group of Solari and other species. The room was packed with curious eyes and glowing skin. "Today," Jera began, "we learn about human language. Many misunderstandings started because humans use idioms, phrases that do not mean exactly what they say." Nolan stepped forward. "For example, when I said I have it inside me, I meant I remembered something, not that I swallowed it." The crowd listened, fascinated. "Another common one is break a leg," Nolan said, smiling. "It means good luck." A young Solari gasped. "You want people to break their legs?" Everyone laughed, including Nolan and Jera. "No," Nolan said, shaking his head. "It's just a phrase." The session continued with many more examples, and the crowd began to understand how humans spoke. After the talk, Jera approached Nolan with a gift, a shirt with words printed in Solari glow ink. It said, "It's just a figure of speech. Wear this when you speak," she said with a smile. Nolan laughed. "I will. It might save me more trouble." But just as things seemed to improve, new trouble arrived. A small group of Grash soldiers stormed into the station's main hall. They moved quickly, searching for Nolan. ZHR rushed to warn him. "They are looking for you again. This time, they want to take you away for further study." Nolan's heart raced. "Again? What now?" They fear you're inside. Is a weapon, Jera said, voice low, without time to lose. Nolan and Jera slipped through secret passages. The station's corridors became a maze of lights and shadows. We have to get to the communications center, Jera said. Send a message to the Galaxy Council. Nolan nodded. Lead the way. As they moved, Jera explained more about Solari culture. We value knowledge, but we also fear what we do not understand. Your inside is a mystery to many. Nolan smiled wryly. That mystery started with a bad choice of words. Yes, and it has brought both laughter and fear, Jera said. They reached the communications center. But the Grash were waiting outside. We cannot let them capture you, Jera whispered. Thinking fast, Nolan grabbed a nearby console and began broadcasting a live message to the council. This is Nolan, human xenolinguist. He said calmly, I am not dangerous. My brain stores knowledge like any other mind. The rumors about something inside me are misunderstandings. The message showed images of his scans and Jera's explanation. Moments later, the council responded, ordering the Grash to stand down and trust the Solari's judgment. The Grash commander reluctantly agreed, lowering his weapon. Jera smiled, relief glowing in her skin. You did well, Nolan. We make a good team, Nolan said. As peace returned, Nolan looked at Jera. So, what's next? Next, she said. We teach everyone the real meaning of your words. They laughed together, knowing the journey was just beginning. After the tense events with the Grash, the atmosphere on the Solari station was both curious and cautious. Nolan found himself watched more than ever, but now some of the attention was friendly. Many aliens wanted to learn about human language and, more importantly, how to avoid misunderstandings like the Inside Me incident. Jera was by his side, a steady presence amid the growing excitement and whispers. She had taken it upon herself to help Nolan navigate not just the station, but the complex emotions of so many different species. One afternoon, while Nolan was studying Solari phonetics, an alarm suddenly sounded, a sharp, pulsing tone echoing through the corridors. What now? Nolan muttered, rising quickly. Jera's glow turned bright red, a warning color for danger. We must find out. They rushed toward the command center, joining a crowd of anxious Solari and other species. On the large screen, a report showed an approaching Grash ship, moving fast and ignoring communication attempts. They've sent reinforcements, the station commander said grimly. They want to capture the human. Nolan's heart pounded. Why can't they just trust you? Fear and distrust run deep, Jera replied. But we will protect you. The station prepared for a possible attack. Nolan was moved to a secure location, surrounded by friendly Solari guards. As tension rose, Nolan couldn't help but think back to how this all started from a simple phrase misunderstood. While waiting, Jera came to speak with him quietly. We need a plan. Your presence here is important, but if the Grash attack, many could be hurt. Nolan nodded. Maybe we can talk to their leaders, explain everything. I will try to reach them, Jera said, but it may take time. Meanwhile, Nolan decided to make the best of the situation. He began teaching a small class about human expressions and customs, hoping to build understanding. His students, a mix of Solari and other species, listened eagerly as he explained phrases like once in a blue moon and piece of cake. One Solari student asked, do humans really eat cake all the time? Nolan laughed. No, it just means something is easy to do. The students giggled, and even the guards outside the classroom peeked in, curious. Suddenly, Jera's communicator beeped urgently. She answered, her glow shifting to deep blue focus and calm. They want to speak with me, she told Nolan. The Grash commanders have agreed to a meeting. Hope sparked in Nolan's chest. Finally, the meeting was held in a neutral chamber, filled with representatives from all species aboard the station. Jera stood with Nolan by her side, ready to explain the human situation clearly. The Grash commander began. We are still concerned about the humans inside. It is unlike anything we know. Nolan took a deep breath. I understand your fear, but I promise there is nothing dangerous inside me. Humans store knowledge in the brain, a soft, delicate organ, Jera added. We have scanned him. No weapons, no crystals, no parasites. Just a mind full of memories and learning. A Grash scientist stepped forward. Can you show us how your brain works? Nolan smiled. I can try. He pulled out a small device and played a simple diagram of the human brain, explaining basic functions in easy language. The Grash listened, their expressions softening. Then, Nolan shared some human humor, telling a story about the inside me phrase that started all this. The room filled with laughter, first quiet, then growing. Even the stern Grash commander smiled. After the meeting, the Grash agreed to lift their restrictions. They would trust the Solari's research and accept that humans are unique but not dangerous. ZHR looked at Nolan with relief. You brought peace. Nolan shrugged with a grin. Guess words can be powerful weapons or bridges. Back on the station, life slowly returned to normal. The Solari and others grew more curious and friendly. Nolan became a teacher, an ambassador, his simple phrases now tools of friendship rather than fear. One day, Jera handed him a small book. It was filled with idioms and expressions from many species, all explained in simple language. This is for you, she said, to help you avoid future misunderstandings. Nolan smiled warmly. Thank you. I'll treasure it. As he walked through the halls, wearing his "It's Just a Figure of Speech" shirt, he felt at home, at least for now, but deep inside, he wondered what other surprises awaited in this galaxy, where even words could become adventures. After the tense meeting with the Grash, the Solari station felt quieter, but not calm. Nolan and Jera both knew this was only the start of something bigger. The galaxy was full of different species, each with their own fears and stories, and not all of them like humans. One morning, as Nolan prepared for his language class, Jera approached him with a serious look. Her glowing patterns flickered softly, showing concern. Nolan, she said quietly, some species still do not trust humans. They spread rumors that you carry dangerous things inside you. Nolan sighed. I thought we fixed that with the meeting. Some believe what they want to believe, Jera replied. We need to be careful. Nolan nodded. So, what do? We do. We teach, she said firmly. Knowledge is the best weapon against fear. And so, Nolan's classes grew. He taught not just language but culture, stories, and even jokes. The Solari and others came eager to learn. One day, while explaining a human saying, Nolan smiled and said, sometimes we say I'm on cloud 9 when we are very happy. A young Solari gasped, are you really floating on clouds? Everyone laughed. Double quotes no. Nolan said, it means feeling great, like flying. The students loved learning these strange expressions. Many said they felt closer to humans now. Meanwhile, Jera worked behind the scenes to build trust. She organized meetings with leaders from other species, sharing stories about Nolan and human culture. Slowly, the rumors began to fade. Curiosity replaced fear. But one evening, a new message arrived from the Galaxy Council. It warned of an approaching fleet from a distant system known for attacking others without warning. The station went on high alert. Nolan and Jera knew they had to prepare. ZHR turned to Nolan. Your skills will be needed. Not just language, but diplomacy. Nolan swallowed nervously. Me? Diplomacy? Yes. She said firmly, your story has already helped many. Now you must help even more. Together, they worked to send messages of peace and cooperation to the approaching fleet. Nolan helped translate and explain human ideas of friendship and alliance. The Solari sent out invitations for talks instead of battle. Days passed, and the fleet slowed near the station. Communications opened. A tall alien with shining armor appeared on the screen. His voice was strong but curious. We heard about the human who carries secrets inside. Is this true? Nolan smiled. No secrets, only stories and hopes. I'm here to build friendship. The alien leader nodded slowly. Then we will meet. Let us talk. Hope filled the station. After the talks, the fleet agreed to stand down and join the Galactic Alliance. Nolan and Jera watched the stars, feeling proud. From a simple misunderstanding, Nolan said, to a new friendship. Jera smiled. Words have power more than weapons. Nolan laughed. And I'll be more careful with my phrases. They both knew this was just the beginning of many adventures inside words, inside minds, and inside the vast galaxy itself. The Solari Research Station had changed a lot since Nolan's arrival. What started as a misunderstanding had grown into a bridge between species. A story told again and again in the halls. Nolan stood at the front of a packed room, smiling at an audience of Solari, Grash, and many others. Today was his last day on the station before returning to Earth. "Thank you all for coming," Nolan said warmly. "When I arrived, I never imagined a simple phrase would cause so much confusion." The crowd chuckled softly, but it taught us all something important, that words can be tricky, and understanding takes patience. Jera stepped forward, her glowing skin shining softly. Nolan showed us that behind every strange phrase, there's a story. Behind every fear, there can be friendship. A young Solari raised a hand. "Will you teach us more when you return?" Nolan nodded. "Yes. There are many human stories and sayings I want to share." After the talk, Nolan and Jer walked through the station's gardens, glowing plants lighting their path. "I will miss this place," Nolan said quietly. "And we will miss you," Jer replied. "You changed how we see humans." Nolan smiled. "All from a misunderstanding about inside me." They laughed together, remembering the early days of confusion and fear. Just then, a Solari student approached with a small package. "This is for you, from all of us." Nolan opened it to find a shirt with glowing words. "It's just a figure of speech. Perfect," he said, putting it on as they reached the transport dock. Nolan looked back at the station one last time. "I came here to study language," he said, "but I learned so much more." Jera smiled. "And you taught us that sometimes what's inside matters most: friendship, laughter, and trust." The ship's engines hummed softly as Nolan prepared to leave. "Take care, Nolan," Jera said. "Remember, next time you say something, maybe explain it first." "I will," he laughed. "But maybe I'll keep some phrases as a surprise." As the ship lifted off, Nolan watched the glowing station fade into the stars. He felt grateful for the friends he made, the lessons learned, and the power of words that could build bridges, even across galaxies. And somewhere deep inside, he smiled, knowing that sometimes misunderstandings could lead to the greatest adventures of all.